In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn anything into a slider using Elementor for free without any plugin at all. So this beautiful slider at the background here was created using this method. This testimonial section of this website was also created using this method. So let's get down to how we can create this. So I'm just going to delete everything on this page. So I'm going to delete that and then we can start creating afresh. So I created this article here to assist you when you're creating your own. So I'm going to leave the link in the description below. So what we want to do is this is actually very important. This section here, this container hierarchy here is very important. So let's go ahead and create our slider. So I'm just going to add this section here. So when we do this, we're going to change the content width to full width. Then we're going to remove the padding. When we do that, we'll start imputing our containers into it. So we'll change this to full width as well. So as with the former one, the previous one as well, we're going to change the padding to 0. So then we'll impute the third container here. So when you do this, you're going to change the vertical height to 88. So for convenience, I'm just going to name this wrapper and name this um, so my bad, I'm going to name this parent and then I'm going to name this wrapper. So when we name this, let's come down to our instruction here. So as you can see, we're going to we're going to include a CSS class for the wrapper. So we're going to come down to the CSS class here and impute the slider wrapper as the CSS class. So now what we want to do is we're going to create our 3 sliders, which is slider 1, slider 2, slider 3. So let's go ahead and breeze through creating that. So we're going to add another container here. So we'll change this as well to vertical height of 88. So when you do that, you're going to justify the contents and items to center. So when you do that, come back here and remove the padding as well. Also remove the padding in the slider that we're creating. So let's start designing our slider. So I'm going to add the header, include the description, and then let's add a button here. So remember, you can always customize this however you want, but something I would like you to know is it is best that you customize the slider to your full taste before you go ahead and start inputting the code. This is because the code is going to combine all the sliders you create into one. So it's better for you to finish creating and make sure it's perfect for mobile tablets and desktop devices before you start inputting the code. So I'm just going to include the background. So I'm going to name this, I'm going to turn this to cover, then we'll add our background overlay, which would be black. So let's change the color here, the font color here. So I'm going to change this to white. So we have our first slider. So for convenience, I like to name my navigator. So I'm going to name this slider 1. So then what you want to do now is you're going to duplicate this into 3. You understand, or how many sliders that you want to work with. So I'm going to duplicate this into 3. Then I'll change the background image as well. So as you can see, I've changed that so we can be sure the slide works correctly. I'm going to change this to slider 2. So then let's change this to slider 3 as well. Then we'll change the background image. So now that I've changed the background image, the next step is to include the CSS class for all our sliders. If you come back to the article here, you see that the CSS class for each slider is slider 1. So you might be wondering why we have slider 1 for all the CSS classes when we have 3 sliders. Well, the reason is quite simple. This is because if you check the the CSS and the JavaScript here, you can see that the this is slider 1 here, and then if you check the JavaScript as well. So if you don't know your way around this, you would have to rewrite this CSS and JavaScript code again if you have, let's say, like you have 2 sliders or you have more than 2 slides. So the with this method, it doesn't matter the amount of sliders that you have, you understand, it will always combine as one and it will work effectively. So that is the beauty of using this method. So I'm just going to name the first slider. We're going to put the CSS class as slider 1. We'll do the same for the slider 2 and 3. So you name this slider 1 as well. So I'm even just saying I made a mistake here. This should be slider 2 and then slider 3, but this doesn't really matter, to be honest. So now that we've done this, what I want to do now is we have this navigation dot option here if you need it. So I'm just going to take this and search for HTML. So I'm just going to place this anywhere on the page. So once you do that, I'm just going to input the code, which wouldn't work. Okay. So I'm just going to name this style. So, and then we'll put the code. So once, oh, okay, sorry, this is an HTML code. So I'm just going to paste this in plainly. But as you can see, the style, the CSS style isn't there. So that's why it's showing like this. So let's come back to our wrapper here, the wrapper container here. So if you were to be using Elementor Pro, what you need to do is just come down to custom CSS here. But because we are not using Elementor Pro, we're going to use the HTML method again. So you come down to HTML here, you can place this anywhere on your page. So then let's copy the CSS code. So this is the CSS code here. So let's copy that to impute style. Then we'll put in the code. So what I was saying about this, why you should make sure you finish creating your slider before inputting this. As you can see, this has changed. It has combined everything into one. You can't see it here because of the Elementor page builder. So if we try to preview it, you'd see that it's, as you can see, all this thing is one. All the sliders have been combined into one. So what we want to do now is we've added the CSS class. Then what we want to do now is we impute the JavaScript to make this work as well. So as I said, okay, you can't see it yet, but you can see that the navigation dots have been, the styling has been corrected because the styling was created along with the other CSS for this. So we're going to impute the HTML, add the HTML to our page again. So now we're going to write script, then we impute the code. Like I said, the script tag comes with the script already. So you don't need to do that for this, actually, in case you're looking for why your slide isn't working. So now that we've done this, the navigation dots from experience, I'm just going to include this, customize this, bring the pull it up a bit. So um, let's see what we have here. So as you can see, the slider works perfectly, but there seems to be a mistake. There seems to be a problem with the slider dots, which I'm going to figure out now. So, but as you can see, the slider works correctly. So you can use this to create a slider for absolutely any um, content on your website if you're using Elementor, and even if you're not using Elementor, so far as you can add advanced CSS classes and all those things, you can also use this method as well. So let me troubleshoot what is wrong with the slide. So to correct the slider dot, I'm just going to change my the way I arrange this. So I'm just going to copy the code for the slider dot, and then I'm going to delete this off. So in the new container that I added, I'm going to paste the